Just curious, when you were in school and you're a athlete and you're getting an education, that's tough. I kind of did it myself as well. And like, what's the message in there, to athletes who are in school as well? Like, how do you maintain that balance in life? Because you got to work hard in both.
Yeah, it's a big lesson. I think that some people learn it the hard way where they mess up and then they figure it out later. And some people figure it out a little faster as they're going through it. But basically, it's a big test on time management. How are you able to manage your time? You only have so much time in the day, so many hours in the day, and so many hours in the week. And you have to allocate them somewhere. Like I said, you have schoolwork. You have to allocate some of your time to schoolwork, studying, going to class, whatever it is. You have to allocate some of your time to being an athlete, training, going to practice, games, preparing, and recovering after games, whatever that is. And then you have time for your social life too. You need some of that.
Right.
Everyone needs that. You can't just shut yourself away from hanging out with people and being with friends and family and whatnot. So it's a test,
Yeah.
and I think it becomes readily apparent how you're doing on that test as you go through school, how your marks are, as you go through the athletic program, how you're performing, and then how your social life is. It's really hard. There's not a right answer for everyone. Everyone's a little bit different. For me personally, I spent more time on my schoolwork than most
Hmm.
people because I took that more seriously. That was more important to me. So I basically, you have a priority list and you allocate your time subsequently. So that's just the way it is. And you have to kind of figure out what works for you, what's best for you. But it's hard.
Yeah. What's been the hardest part? Like you look back over the last 20 years, you're married, you got kids, you travel all the time. It's hard to catch you because you're
Yeah.
somewhere. But like, what's the hard, and you got to train, right? And you got to train, you got to be at games. Like, there's a lot that you have to do. What's the hardest thing that you have to overcome now?
The hardest thing for me now, where I am, in this
Hmm.
moment, is family, especially during the season, especially during this last season where the schedule was so
Right.
condensed, where we were playing basically every other day for the majority of the season. It's finding time to balance family in there too. I'm, like you said, I'm married. I have two kids, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. I don't want those kids to, despise me or not know
Yeah.
me as I go through the hockey season. Obviously, and this is how we justify it. I remind myself throughout the year that I get the majority of the off seasons and the
Hmm.
summers to spend with them. So I need to maximize that time for sure. But it's the hardest thing is during the season, being able to, stay engaged in the hockey, and then being able to spend time away from hockey, with the family, with the kids, with the wife, which was harder this year because we weren't
Yeah.
able to do date nights or anything like that in Alberta. So it's I think just it's the same. That's why the time management thing in university is a prep
Hmm.
course for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
because
Good point.
you have to manage your time for the rest of your life, and as you get older you get busier and busier with the family or your career or whatever it is. Just the time slots just change, so you still have
Right.
to learn to manage the time and to allocate it properly.
Yeah. And your kids are adorable. I've met them a couple times and they're just like really sweet kids. And it's been interesting for me as I get older and as my kids have gotten older, I start to look at them and think, so much of my life is really giving to them now. Like, and it's not about me taking from the world. It's about, what am I leaving for my kids, and, what sort of legacy, what sort of message am I giving them? And so, like, you're doing that. I'm sure you are. Like, what are you giving to your kids, and how, even at a young age, what are you giving them that they're going to take away from all this?